The train clattered, jolted, then started rolling, carrying Ira and me towards the sea. Outside the window, blurred poles and gray platforms drifted by, while inside the carriage smelled of iron and hot plastic from the boiling kettle. Ira sat next to me, eyes glued to her phone. Her fingers danced across the screen as if she was trying hard not to smile. I watched her, thinking, finally, vacation together, just like in the old days. "Vanya, do you want some tea?" she asked without looking up. Her voice was soft and familiar, like morning coffee that she'd been brewing for 15 years straight. "Sure," I nodded. "Just put plenty of sugar in it." She got up gracefully, fixing a loose strand of chestnut hair, and walked down the aisle toward the end of the car. I followed her with my gaze, slim figure, light dress, that same walk which still made something stir in my chest. 15 years married, daughter in 5th grade, son at kindergarten, mortgage almost paid off, life felt settled, built brick by brick. And now there was even the sea ahead, salty wind, sound of waves, Ira in a new swimsuit. What more could a man ask for? But 5 minutes later, I noticed she wasn't coming back. The conductor's kettle hissed, a couple of people wandered through the corridor, but no sign of Ira. I stood up, paced down to the end of the wagon. It was empty. The door to the vestibule flapped mockingly. Maybe she's gone to the toilet? I thought, but something inside already pricked like a splinter. Back at our seats, I stared out the foggy glass. 10 minutes passed. 15. "Where are you hiding?" I muttered under my breath, standing again. Decided to check the rest of the train. Maybe she struck up a conversation with someone else. Ira's always chatty, finds someone to talk to everywhere. Walking through cars, peering into faces, grannies selling pastries, men drinking beer, kids playing on tablets. Then, in the 5th car, I saw her. She stood in the passage, head slightly tilted, talking to some guy. Tall, tanned, short-haired, with an arrogant smirk that immediately made me want to punch him. She whispered something to him, and he looked at her like he knew her better than I did. Suddenly she laughed, a quiet laugh, yet so familiar, the way she used to giggle when I teased about the neighbor's cat. My heart dropped somewhere low, like a stone thrown into a well. "Ira." I called out, my voice cracking louder than intended. She turned, and her face. Oh, I'll never forget that look. Eyes widened, lips trembled, then she forced a smile, stiff, like one of those old photos where we posed before getting married. "Vanya? Why were you here?" Her voice quivered, but quickly regained composure. "I'm just chatting with another passenger." "Another passenger?" I stepped closer, feeling blood thumping in my temples. "And how long have you been yakking away?" That guy Artem, as I'd learned later, looked down at me, arms crossed, all calm and confident, like a cat who just licked up sour cream knowing nothing bad would happen. "Hey, buddy, chill out. Just small talking," he shrugged dismissively. "Small talking, huh?" I glanced at Ira. "So why'd you come over here anyway? Where's your tea?" She hesitated, lowering her gaze. "I decided to explore the train, ended up here randomly." Randomly? That word hung in the air like cigarette smoke that wouldn't clear. I stood there, staring at her, realizing she was lying. Lying like that time when she said she stayed late at a friend's place but reeked of men's cologne. Then I believed her. But now? Now a chasm opened beneath me and I felt the ground slipping away. I've always been simple folk, Vanya. Worked as a driver at the factory, loved weekend football matches and cold beers after shift. Not handsome, but not ugly either, sturdy build, thick eyebrows, scar on chin from childhood fights. Calm-natured, patient, I can take anything, friends joke that I could survive even Armageddon. There was only one thing I feared, losing my family. Ira has always been my anchor. We met at a wedding reception. She danced in a red dress. I spilled wine on her, spent half the evening apologizing. A year later, we were married. She wanted cozy home, I wanted happy wife. Seemed everything went according to plan. Not quite. Ira is different. Beautiful, delicate features, deep-set eyes like lakes in the woods. Loved books, flowers, long walks. Worked in accounting, dreamed of bigger things, travels, life free from counting pennies. Sometimes I caught sadness in her eyes, but blamed it on fatigue. She hid her thoughts behind smiles, soft, warm, like a homemade blanket. Then Artem came along, found out about him accidentally when I stumbled upon a message on her phone. "Where are you? Miss you." She claimed it was a colleague, and foolishly, I believed her. He was one of those guys who took what they wanted, cocky, expensive watch, speaking as though the whole world lay at his feet. Divorced, childless, living carefree. Turned out he'd been seeing my wife for a year while I fixed cars and drove sons to soccer practice. The train hummed, taking us further while I stood between them both, watching everything I trusted crumble. Ira gazed at me, searching for excuses. Artem lazily grinned. Vanya, let's go back, talk this out, she whispered softly, stepping closer. Talk. My laughter stuck in my throat. About how you've been sneaking off here while waiting for me with tea. Or how you've been fooling me for 15 years. Her eyes glistened, tears or anger, couldn't tell. Me? I suddenly realized I didn't know this woman facing me. My Ira? Or someone else, leading a double life I'd missed completely. The train swayed and I grabbed the handrail to steady myself. Inside, however, I was falling into an abyss devoid of family, trust, or any future sea. Only truth remained, bitter as salt on my tongue. Ira fell silent, staring at the floor as the train whistled and wheels clicked rhythmically. Artem stood nearby, shifting awkwardly, perhaps embarrassed, but his eyes sparkled mischievously. Arrogance or amusement. Couldn't say that I stared at her. This woman whom I once knew intimately, awaiting words, a glance explaining everything. But silence cut deeper than knives. Ira, my voice faltered. Say something. What are you doing here with him? Slowly, reluctantly, she raised her eyes. Something flickered there. Fear? Shame? Maybe exhaustion. Then she exhaled sharply, like dropping heavy burdens. Vanya? She spoke quietly, each word landing like stones in water, leaving ripples. I've got someone else. It's Artem. For a year now. A year. A whole damn year. I froze, feeling everything turn upside down inside. It hit me like a gut punch. Unexpected, unprepared, knocking the air right out of me. All these months she lied, smiled at breakfast, kissed goodnight, while secretly running off to meet that grinning bastard in the 5th car. You serious? I burst out, voice rising to a shout. A year? You think I'm such a fool, Ira? She retreated a step, pale-faced, lips trembling. Artem pretended to intervene, but I roared loud enough to make him freeze. You shut up, hero lover boy. We'll deal with you later. The carriage seemed to shrink around us. Passengers began turning their heads. Some even stood up for a better view. Didn't matter. Let them stare, film it on their phones. For all I cared. Vanya, listen. Ira began, reaching out, but I recoiled as if burned. Listen, I screamed, throat burning raw. What's left to hear? How you snuck off with him while I sat home with the kids, while I slaved at the plant paying off your mortgage. Do you even realize what you've done, Ira? Silent. She only stared at me, eyes shining, dry of tears. Me? Couldn't stop the torrent of words pouring out, hot, angry, ragged. 15 years. 15 years I've believed you blindly. And you with this. I pointed at Artem, who now avoided eye contact, pretending indifference. How could you? We've got children, Ira. Children. Have you ever given them a single thought? Vanya, I didn't mean for it to. She tried to explain, but I wasn't listening anymore. Didn't mean for it? I interrupted, face flushing crimson with rage. What exactly did you want? To keep living in lies, like a blind kitten? No way. Enough is enough. I'm going back home. First station I see, I'm out. And that's final, Ira. Final. I'm filing for divorce, period. She shuddered, as if slapped, while Artem finally spoke up. Come on, pal, relax. What's the point yelling? Relax. I spun sharply toward him, fists clenched till nails dug into palms. I'll wipe you clean across this carriage, jerk off. Ira stepped between us, hands raised defensively. Vanya, please don't. Let's talk sensibly. Sensible? I nearly chuckled, but it came out harsh, raspy. You fed me bullshit for 15 years, and now you're asking for sensible? Hell no, Ira. Should have talked earlier, before jumping into bed with this creep. The train eventually stopped at some desolate station. Gray platform, few benches, dust blown by the wind. Grabbing my backpack without looking back at Ira, I jumped off the train. She shouted something after me, but her words drowned in crowd noise and train whistles. Bought return ticket on the first available flight, boarded a freezing bus, headed home. Head empty, like scorched field, except for simmering anger buried deep within. Divorce, kids, dividing property. All awaited me ahead, but I knew. No turning back point. 6 months passed. Life trickled unevenly, like rainwater in a riverbed. Rented a studio apartment near work, picked up kids on weekends, tried keeping emotions in check. Ira phoned twice. Voice tired, begging for a meeting, wanting to talk. Refused every time. Didn't want to see her face, didn't want to hear excuses. Daughter mentioned mom lived alone now that guy Artem had disappeared. Nodded blankly, not caring. Or so I thought. Then rumors reached me. It was brought by my old mate Sergey, whom I occasionally bumped into at the pub after shifts. He slapped me on the shoulder, grinned wryly, and announced, "Heard about your ex? Turns out Urka cheated not only on you." I froze mid-sip, feeling something stirring inside, whether anger or surprise, couldn't tell. "What are you talking about?" I growled, glaring at him suspiciously. "That Artem guy, her lover," Sergey chuckled, sipping his beer. "Turns out she screwed him too. They say she hooked up with some new stud, rich type, yacht owner, perpetually bronzed. Per Artem moped around, shouting all over town that she dumped him. And Urka?" Smiling brightly, buying fancy clothes, unbothered. I set down my mug carefully, making sure not to spill. Chest twinging, not pain, but strange, bitter satisfaction. So I wasn't the only fool. Artem, that self-assured jackal with his smug grin, also fell victim to her roller coaster ride. My Ira wasn't merely a liar, she was like the wind, blowing wherever she pleased, breaking everything in its path. Let her be, I finally managed, staring out the blurry window pane. Can spin yarns with 10 lovers, doesn't concern me. Sergey nodded, but I could sense he expected more, perhaps a rant, maybe outrage. Instead, I kept quiet. One thought circled inside, that's it, Vanya. That's who she really is. Gradually, relief seeped in, not instantly, but slowly, as if someone lifted a bag of rocks off my shoulders. At home, I poured myself coffee, sank onto the couch, and stared at the ceiling for ages. Ira betrayed Artem, Artem probably curses day and night, and me? Well, I moved forward. Kids growing, job secure, life flowing. No sea breeze, no salty winds, but honest. Without her dual masks, without her running around trains. Outside, rain drizzled, drops tapping against the glass like drum beats. I smiled genuinely, first real smile in 6 months. Justice? Perhaps not. But something close to it exists. Irina remains alone, whether with a new plaything or none at all, while I remain true to myself.